You're a boy, right?
No, I'm a girl.
Who told you you were a girl?
What?
Mommy.
When did she tell you you were a girl?
Because I love girls.
What the
Oh,
hell?
I see. So mommy told you you were a girl?
Uh-huh.
The state of California says that I have to pay for the chemical and physical castration of my son as child support.
What?
I'm not going to pay that child support. I'm not going to pay anything to hurt my son.
And that means you'll be going to prison?
California is going to send me to prison for that.
What?
So, Jeff, you are going through something. You've been going through something that is probably a father's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Tell me when this started.
Started when my son was about 2 years old. My ex-wife, who's a pediatrician in Capel, Texas, started thinking that he might be a girl.
He's 2 years old. What? Holy shit.
And started trying to transition him to a girl. And when I tried to put a stop to that, she filed for divorce and used her relationships with care providers to force me out of my house. And so I moved about a mile up the road from my sons.
Oh my
she
God.
filed for divorce formally, and I had 50-50 custody of him. And just after his third birthday, you know, I took the first iPhone video I'd ever taken, and it was him telling me that he thought he was a girl because his mommy tells him a girl. You can go on YouTube and just search for "mommy says I'm a girl." You'll find that video.
That is grooming, man. Like, how is a parent trying to, like, groom their kid into being trans at 2 and 3 years old? That's insane. This is crazy. Put her in jail. Yes, this is nuts. Look at the video now. It was the beginning of this. Like, just, like, go back, like, literally 1 minute in the VOD, and you'll see it. This is nuts.
Yeah. She was telling him things like, you know, she would put him into timeout and say, "Don't be a boy. The monsters only eat boys," and weird things like this.
Bro. Bro. How do you let this happen? This is insane. Yes, this is straight up wrong. Yes, it is. This is awful. It's not even nuts. She had to be sent to an asylum as soon as possible. I think that a lot of women, like, and this is especially true, I think women fall victim to this more often, is that, like, the social messaging and, like, the moral virtue of being trans, I think causes women to have, like, a, like, so there's a fucking issue, like a mental disorder. It's called Munchausen by proxy. And it's where a parent basically, like, either gets their kid sick or pretends like their kid is really sick in order to basically farm sympathy and farm attention from having this sick kid. And so I view the parents that are, like, grooming kids to be trans as, like, I mean, and again, we're not even talking about, like, 14. We're talking about 2 and 3 years old, okay? They don't even know what gender is yet, really. And like, you're grooming your kid to do this. Like, this is a mental disorder, right? I mean, this woman is... There's something wrong with her, man. Yeah, like, straight up, something wrong with her. And it's insane that, like, I can't see anybody who could just not come to this obvious conclusion that she's nuts. Yes, it's insane. He's not 2, bro? Well, he was in the video where at the beginning, actually, they said he was 3. So that's not it. Yeah, so he's 3. I think that's a little bit better, right? Let's see here. And I remember his documentaries, and a woman would hospitalize themselves regularly. Yeah, and so that's what happens. And I'm shocked that people don't, like, put up with this even in a slightest amount. This is crazy. It was 2 whenever she began grooming? Yeah, according to him, that's true.
And she began to then socially transition him, and that led to a titanic battle in the state of Texas that culminated in me getting the procedures outlawed in Texas.
Good for him.
And the political establishment in Texas allowing her to come to California so she could still castrate him even though I got it outlawed.
Had your son, you have 2 sons.
I have 2 sons, James and Jude. They're twins. They're not identical.
Okay.
James is the one that she's transitioning.
And was there any sign in James that he was open to this or showing signs that he wanted to be anything other than
Well, you know, it's interesting. So he was directly asked that by counselors and stuff, but...
How are counselors asking a child what gender they think they are? What's going on? How is it? This is insane. He's brainwashed. Yeah, also, like, of course you have a kid. Like, if the mom is sitting there, this is like you have kids that are, like, radical, you know, religious people, right? Like, kids that are, like, hyper-racist. If you have a 5-year-old that's hyper-racist and they know a bunch of racial slurs, they didn't spawn in that way, man. They had a little bit of help.
Let me just tell you about one of the fundamental facts of the case
parents,
that a lot of people find shocking. James never presented as a girl with anyone but his mom. At church.
Because he wanted to make her happy. Because she would like whenever he would act like a girl. That's probably what happened.
With me, with his friends, he dressed as a boy and called himself James. He only presented as a girl with his mom. And I asked him one time, why are you doing that? And he just flat out told me, he said, well, mommy doesn't love me if I'm not a girl.
Yep. Well, there it is. It's just like I said. I mean, a lot of these women are just fucking insane. And I don't know really how it gets to this extreme. Like, I'm not sure, like, is it something where, like, what's her relationship with the other kid, right? Her other son. You know, like, what's the relationship with this? Is it because, like, this is somehow like a, you know, like she's getting a divorce, so now she hates all men. She doesn't want to be around men, so she's making her young boy son a girl. Like I don't know. Is she doing this for, like, social validation? Like, I always wonder about that. Like, why does a person do this?
And that's what he told the counselors too. James is a very talented boxer.
By the way, this is the reason why people call it a woke mind virus. This is, like, straight up a perversion of the mind. If you are looking to defend this in any way, shape, or form, you have completely lost the plot. You are totally out of your fucking mind. This is not acceptable. It's not okay. This is creepy, weird. This is child grooming. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. These are children, and we're not even talking about 16 again. We're talking about, you know, they're not even in school yet. It's deranged. Yeah, it's an accessory to these people. Yeah.
I'm a boxer. My dad was a boxer. James is extremely talented. Jude's a wrestler, but James is a very talented boxer. Olympic talent scouts were looking at him. He's that good.
Good for him.
And they backed away from him once this all got started. He has all boy friends.
Yeah, sure.
Now, he has some things that you might say are feminine. He likes art. He particularly likes painting and pastels.
Right.
My son Jude likes sculpture, you know. James is also more extroverted. And
so this is why he's a girl, is because he likes art and painting. Uh-huh.
is willing to play with almost anybody, you know, and he will definitely play with girls. He'll play tag with girls. He'll build things with girls. He has no problem, like, hanging around with girls. But in terms of having a desire to be a girl, he consistently told me for 10 years that he had no desire to be a girl. He told the court-appointed counselor that he was embarrassed to wear dresses to school. He was getting too
Whoa.
old for that and didn't want to wear dresses. And they initiated a CPS investigation against me for forcing him to be a boy. And my
average divorced dad experience. Yep, well, there it is. Oh my God. How does this happen? Do you remember what I said before, guys? There's two groups of people in the world that are causing all of our problems, and the main one is Karens. That's
CPS investigation.
I was
And
telling
do
you
you have
guys.
contact with your sons now?
No, I'm disallowed all contact with my sons.
You're not allowed to even contact them.
No.
Wow.
I'll tell you how this all sort of built up.
Wow.
So she started transitioning him, you know, really hardcore at 3. I mean, where she presented him to the world with a fake girl's name and everything.
Bro, how is every single person in the country not immediately saying this woman needs to have the kid taken away from her? This is, yeah, put her in jail. This is sexual grooming. This is sick.
This, of course, would have been an important component
Yeah.
in the divorce that was going on.
Of course.
So we get to 2017, and we have our divorce trial, and we had a custody evaluator. His name is Blake Mitchell. He practices out of Frisco, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas.
Okay.
And he asked me, what is your top issue? And I said, my top issue is she's tampering with my son's gender identity.
Yeah.
So he charges me $60,000 and does a 1-year
Normal.
investigation of my family, interviewing my children over and over again, everything, and determines that she was not transitioning my son to a girl. He straight up lied to the court and said that I had made a false accusation against her for saying that she was trying to transition my son to a girl. And on that basis, I lost 50.
Well, I mean, couldn't they just cross-reference it with him saying this to the, like, this is crazy. What the fuck?
50 custody and got less than standard possession time. So I basically got, you know, 4 to 6 days a month with my sons. So that's how the divorce ended, with the psychologist just outright lying. Now, I've been lucky with these psychologists that lie. I've been able to prove they've lied, so the court actually set aside his report. But
This is insane. Revoke his license? Yeah, yeah. If he lied,
that's what he actually told the court in his report.
exactly.
So she then starts really ramping up it again, and now
Yeah.
he's wearing makeup at school. He's
Oh boy.
using the girls' restroom at his elementary school, which
What the teachers let this happen? The teachers are enabling this? Oh my God. It's California? This is insane. I don't even know what to say. How is this even real?
was Pinkerton Middle School in Coppell, Texas. I got that school shut down. That school doesn't exist anymore in Coppell. They shut down. Got rid of the principal there. Her name is
What?
Miss Mickelson, who's the one that really transitioned my son.
So it's another Karen. What is happening? What the fuck? I don't even know.
And I found out
It's a Karen coalition. It is. It is. They were in Texas. I guess so. I feel horrible for this man. Yes. Oh my God. That's in Texas or California? They were in Texas, and then after Texas seemingly wasn't putting up with it, then they moved to California.
out after 2.5 years, they had been transitioning my son secretly behind my back. So I would bring my son to Pinkerton Middle School in Coppell in boys' clothes, because he wears boys' clothes with me, and they would give him a dress.
And the entire school got shut down for this. What the actual fuck? This is crazy. This is insane. Social conscious is a massive problem if real. I feel like, you know, I generally, I mean, if the school got shut down, the court denied this, I feel like there's got to be some truth in this, right? I mean, like, Because this is like multiple points of reference where it's confirmed. There are court reports public. It's real. Yeah. Okay. So there's public court reports of this.
And tell him to use the girls' bathroom.
So wait a minute. So he's being groomed by school administrators to go into the bathroom of the other gender? Oh my God. How are these people not in jail? This is insane. Really, this is crazy.
And when I found that out, I filed grievances against the public
that's a good
school.
idea.
And of course, they exonerated themselves, saying that under their nicknames policy, they're allowed to call him whatever he wants.
That's true, but what about the dress? And what about the bathrooms?
And they're allowed to put him in dresses because he wants to wear it and it doesn't harm him in any way. And so there was just no place to go. It's virtually impossible in Texas to sue a school district because they have sovereign immunity.
Why?
So this kept ramping up with my ex-wife.
See, the problem of why this happens is that the individual teachers that are doing this don't get held accountable for, like, basically child grooming, which is, I think, what should happen. And this is the reason why this kind of stuff propagates so much, is that there's like an administrative bureaucracy for this that kind of enables these people to just do awful stuff. They aren't allowed to force and supersede parental rights. Yeah. And so anyway, sue the teachers. Yes, exactly. And well, you don't sue them. You hold them criminally responsible for doing this. That's the way that you solve this problem. I'm a very big believer in individual personal accountability that directly affects the person that is doing the action. I think that's how you solve a problem. Because if there's no real consequence for this, it just happens. But the moment that it's kind of like, for example, do you remember what I was saying about how like all the polls were saying that like Kamala Harris would win, but then everybody who was betting on it said Trump would win? Well, people have a very more realistic view of the world the moment that they have any money in the game, they have any skin in the game. So the way that you solve this problem is that you make people accountable directly for what they're doing. And that makes this go away instantaneously. And so everybody is always willing to have these high-minded, weird ideals because they never have to suffer any consequences for them. But the moment that you add in consequences, this stuff immediately falls apart. So in my opinion, I think that the mom and I think the teachers that were found to be cooperating with and encouraging the student to go in the opposite gender bathrooms, I think that they need to be brought up on some form of criminal charge. Personally. Because that's what they've done, and that's the real solution for something like this. And you punish them directly. You make an example out of them as an individual, because shutting down the school, they just go work somewhere else. It doesn't really affect their life in the same way that like a sex charge would, and it should. By the way, it should. This is what should happen. Mom, where's the crime? I think that grooming a child in a sexual way, especially before they even understand sexuality at all, is sexual exploitation of a child. I think that it is, and I think it's disgusting. It is. It's grooming. It's abuse. Yes, exactly. Falls under child abuse? Yes, it is.
So finally, I look in the medical records with my ex-wife chose a pediatrician, Dr. Jennifer Pape, in Flower Mound, Texas, where I live. And Dr. Pape, in the medical records, it says that her and Miss Georgilis, my ex-wife, were planning on chemically castrating James at age 8 or 9. That's plain black and white in the medical records. So obviously, I start to vociferously oppose this. I try to
this is why does she still have a license, right? Why isn't she in jail?
Get a new
pediatrician.
I have to go to court to try to get a new pediatrician. That leads her to file another lawsuit against me for sole control of James.
So they were at what age were they looking to do this?
At age 8 or 9, they were going to chemically castrate him.
It's insane, man. It really is. Like, I've seen some of this stuff that's happened, and it's unreal that there's anybody putting up with this even for a second. Mother should be stripped of a medical license, lose all custody, and promptly jailed. This is what I think should happen. Like, this is the kind of stuff, in my opinion, that I think, like, the government and, like, especially even federal government should look into, because examples like this are just, I mean, it's just sick. And the fact that there's, like, an apparatus that's protecting this woman, and the worst part is that not only are they protecting her, they are enabling and, you know, like, making her more powerful. They're protecting her and enabling her to do this even more. So, did you see the video with the police officer yet? Yeah, I know it's coming up. Don't worry, I'll get to it. And she's a pediatrician. What the fuck? Yeah, exactly. And link to the video. It was just a Reddit. It's a Reddit post. I don't know what this is exactly at all. And you see all these people. Look at all these reports. Like, these people don't want the truth to get out. It's not. I mean, I don't know why it's so hard to understand. Dude's going to jail for his baby mama's child abuse. Convincing a child is the opposite gender is a form of sexual abuse. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll die on this hill. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, well, the thing is that you need to start charging people for it. Because, again, the reason why this stuff happens is because... So let me explain why this happens. I think that a lot of people have these viewpoints and they try to transition. I'm just going to say it. I think that a lot of people try to transition their kids for social points. I think they do. And I actually think it's that simple. They try to transition their kids for social points, or they do it because this is some ideology and the kid plays along with it because it's a good way for the kid to get attention from the parents, right? And so that's it. And so this happens. You're right about that? Yeah. And this is what Karens do. And I'm sure, you know, guys do this too, but it sure seems like it's primarily women that are pushing this. But the point is still the same. I mean, it doesn't matter who's doing it. It's bad no matter what. The point is that that's the reason why it's happening. It's not happening because they really believe it. They're doing it for some kind of approval or some like deep-seated resentment of men or something like that. So yeah, pick me guys. Yeah, probably just mentally ill. Well, regardless of what the reason is, I think that this is my mindset. I think that if you're trying to transition a 3-year-old, you are mentally unfit to be a custodian parent. Period. And that's being generous. Like, it really, I mean, this is not even like, if you're planning on, you know, doing sex operations on a child at 8 or 9 years old, you are not, you need to have your medical license revoked immediately. I can't even understand where this, you shouldn't be around children, period. You can't be trusted. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. These people need to be removed from society? Yeah. They want to give them puberty blockers? Yeah, I bet they do. And just because a kid says they want to be a fire truck doesn't mean that we should paint them red. Yeah, well, also, like, and here's the issue, is that a lot of kids, this is what I think happens, is that the parents, and this is what the dad said, is that some of these parents that are so captured by this, like, worldview or ideology, because they're so captured by it, and the kid probably, like, you think about the type of person that gets involved with stuff like this, probably a psychotic, crazy bitch, right? And so if you're a kid of this parent, well, and this is your mom, you're going to want to go along with what she says so she's nice to you and she doesn't treat you like shit, right? And so, of course, the kids are going to voluntarily go along with this because that's the only way that they can be treated nicely by the parent. And I think that this happens, it happens with religious extremism, it happens with political extremism, it happens with this type of extremism. I think it happens with everything, right? And it's insane. I probably would have gone along with it too. Yeah, I think a lot of kids would have. And because they don't have the problem, and this is the issue that a lot of kids have, and this is why it's important not to do this kind of stuff to kids, is because they don't have any frame of reference to understand what is the difference between being a man or a woman. They don't get it. They don't even understand it. So you're taking a complex idea, adult idea of transgenderism, and you're pushing it on a child in a very narrow view from their mind of what makes sense. It's insane. They don't know any better. They trust their parents are going to do things to their best interest. They can't comprehend the topics. Yeah, exactly. And when the boy's 15, he wishes he's a girl. Well, I don't know about being 15, right? I mean, I'd say 15, you've got a better idea of who you are than 3. I'd tell you that. I think anybody'd say that. And so anyway, yeah. So poor kid was groomed. He was. She belongs in prison. Absolutely. It hurts to watch. I couldn't even imagine having to go through this. Yeah, it's awful. Unwatchably sad and shocking to me. It makes me so angry, him and the poor boy. This is why it's important to never vote for anybody who makes any kind of defense for this. So, like, this is my mindset. I would say that if anybody tries to defend this, never vote for them for any reason. There's no justification for this. There's no situation where it's okay. Even if you side with people that are okay with this, that still, in my opinion, is a complete disqualifier. This is sick, disgusting, and I think these people should be put in jail. I do. And if the moment that somebody actually comes up there that's more extreme than Trump or Vance about this, I'll vote for them to put these people in jail. Because I think this is child abuse, it's child grooming, it's disgusting, and it has to stop. It does, yeah, and nobody should be tolerating this even in a slight amount. I cannot wait for the person to run for election that's going to put these people in jail, because and I think a lot of other people are going to vote for that on just that issue. I cannot wait. I am so excited. And yeah, let's see. Thank you for saying this. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for commenting. Yeah, and I understand people, you know, it's like this is, you know, you might think this is extreme. I don't think this is extreme. I think that I'm the normal one. These people are the ones who are extreme. That's it. And I can't admit you voted for Trump now. Well, I mean, I literally just said Trump isn't putting these people in jail. So like, why would I vote for Trump if this is an issue that matters so much to me? And I say Trump's not putting these people in jail, why would this be an indicator that I'm voting for Trump? It doesn't make sense. And so anyway, let's see here. I'll read who puts the flags on the post. Probably people that just don't want to hear about it and they don't want to see it happen. Or do you care if you vote for Trump? Yeah, I don't know. This video has extraordinary claims. I know, but there's court documents and references, and the school got shut down, and it's all proven. So that's the problem. Is like, I agree with you. You know, like extreme claims require extreme evidence. But unfortunately, this does seem like there is an extreme amount of evidence for this. We're extremely against this. They're extremely for it. Yeah. And again, I will be waiting for the person who will, you know, not literally, but metaphorically crucify the people that do this. And I will vote for that person for that sole reason. Their other issues are not important. Why not literally? I think it's like 8th Amendment. You're not able, it's like cruel and unusual punishment. You're not allowed to do it. That's the only reason. Yeah, obviously. Trump did make it illegal for medical experts to transition a minor. It's a good start, and I was glad that Trump did that. But I think that should only be the beginning. You have to root this out at the very bottom. And yeah. Let's see here. Chemically castrate parents and doctors. I don't know about the parents chemically castrating them. I don't know about that. But yeah, I mean, this stuff makes me furious. And I think that if it's not making you furious, I wonder why. You know, like, not that there's anything wrong with you, but like, you know, you're a weirdo. But this is disgusting, right? Kidnap your son, live abroad. Kidnapping is like illegal. How can you make an argument to legality whenever legality has created an outcome that's transitioning an 8-year-old? Like, I don't know. I mean, I would feel like, you know, if the law has created an outcome that allows an 8-year-old to be forcibly transitioned and groomed by his mother and other people in his life, then maybe the law isn't necessarily the best decision maker, right? And what a retard commenter. Yeah, I guess so. But anyway, yeah, this is what happens, is that people like this have to report. And the reason why, keep in mind, the reason why there are so many reports for this is because these people can't stand to see this happen, and they don't want to see this get out to the public. And the reason why the people are afraid of this story is because they know that they're wrong. They know that any normal person watching this and reading this story will see how disgusting and weird it is and immediately turn against them. So that's why they're trying to report it and shut it down, is because they know that what they're doing is evil. They know what they're doing is disgusting. And so they're doing everything that they can to hide the evidence, because they know that if it makes to the light of day, that they're going to be done. That's it. Woke doctors preying on children? Yep, exactly. Anyone doing this needs to be put away. Exactly. Viral, what's the video, brother? Just tuned in. It's from Soft White Underbelly on YouTube. I apologize, I don't have a link. It was just posted on Reddit. Usually their interviews are longer, so I would assume there's probably more to this, but this is at least an excerpt of it. So yeah, thanks for bringing awareness to these issues. Yeah, it's disgusting, and I don't really know what else to say about it besides that.